We need to show that generosity of spirit that recognises the scale of the challenge that we face, and that women don't face the loss of their human rights, that women don't face persecution, and yes, that women don't face even worse, including up to death. Mr. Speaker, it is important to say that if we are to support the Afghan people, then this crisis needs to mark a point of fundamental change in this government's approach to refugees. In the past few months alone, this is a government which has introduced a hateful anti-refugee bill that would rip up, Mr. Speaker, international conventions. It would criminalise those coming from Afghanistan that are in need of our refuge. It is the UK government that has spent a sizable part of its summer making political play from turning away migrants and refugees in small boats, desperately making their way across the Channel. I will give way.
I thank the honourable gentleman for giving way. Given that only Glasgow has been the only city and only authority in Scotland to be part of the resettlement scheme up until now, will the SNP actually stick to their rhetoric and start coming forward with other authority areas to be part of the resettlement scheme?
My goodness. I don't think the honourable gentleman has actually been listening to anything we've been saying over the course of the last few days, because, and I'll come on and I'll talk about this in more detail, because I've been asking about the Syrian resettlement scheme, to work on the basis of the Syrian scheme that we had back in the last decade. And I will tell you, Mr. Speaker, that the Scottish Government stands ready to work with the UK Government. You know, Mr. Speaker, we're talking about people that are facing extreme risk, and that's what we get from the government benches, and they should really be careful that people in the United Kingdom are listening to this, and perhaps people in Afghanistan, and perhaps, Mr. Speaker, a bit of dignity from the opposition benches wouldn't go remiss. But let me tell the government benches that I want to make sure that every local authority in Scotland has the opportunity to take refugees from Afghanistan. And that is precisely the position of the government in Scotland, but it has to come with the government in London and the devolved administrations working together. There has to be a summit of the four nations to discuss exactly how this will work.